Alrighty, we are live. I am live, and I got some bad news. I actually broke down the other night and probably won't be home until Saturday because I still got a work to do. And yeah, this is the life of the trucker. So I'm in the Freightliner Coronado. If you have watched my vlog, I'm driving a different truck now. I'm in the Freightliner Coronado, but I gotta show you something before it gets dark. I gotta show you something, all right? So let's go check this out over here. Let's check this out. So Freightliner Coronado, that's how she looks like. Nice truck. It's a little bit getting chilly down here, so I decided to turn on the truck and get some heat running because it's going to get down into the 40s, and that's pretty chilly. But I'll show you here what broke off. Take a look at this right here. That right there has actually broken off and made quite a bit of racket. Quite a bit of racket when that happened. It actually broke off. I ended up parking the trailer way over there behind those trailers in the trailer parking section. But yeah, this sucker has actually broken off and made quite a bit of racket. Scared the flip out of me a little bit, but I right away kind of knew what it was, but at the same time I didn't find it. I actually wasn't prepared for it. But it kind of sucks that this drive shaft, or jack shaft as they call it, has broken apart. The wrecker, one of the wreckers, that guy didn't tell me. The guy, I mean, this place has quite a bit of wreckers. They even have a rotator wrecker. But the guy who told me actually left. He worked all day today. I guess he had another emergency call to go to. But it's pretty cool. This place, Truck Service of Florence, they have a big shop and everything, and they could repair your trucks and tow you. Tow bill wasn't too expensive, actually. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. It's minimum $600 on almost any towing company to tow you, and luckily I only broke down like 5 minutes from here. I-95 runs in Florence, somewhere up there, and they literally told me like just couple miles down here. Basically, I'm going to tell you the story, but for you, if all of you are just joining in, this is what the drive shaft looks like. It's broken. The part that flew out is actually in one of the wreckers, and I am just waiting for service. I broke down last night about a little bit after midnight. The wrecker didn't come until about almost 2:30. Got hooked up, got towed behind that parking lot there, and there's a little gas station there too, and they do make good breakfast, that's for sure. Now, sat whole day. I guess they were busy with other trucks, trying to keep pushing them, you know, to get them to come to me, and they finally came to me and they did an estimate. Not gonna tell you what the price is. I'm not at liberty to say, but they finally got the estimate, and they think they got the right parts for it, and they're gonna get me done by lunchtime. Their lunchtime is 3 p.m. So basically I'm gonna be here whole day tomorrow. Some of the loads that I'm doing got canceled, so I'm gonna have to work only a Friday. So I missed out work on a Thursday, which, yeah, you make a little bit less money because of that, but hey, I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna be able to start work tomorrow night and probably finish a different shift. But again, if you're just tuning in, that's what happened. So yeah, that drive shaft is toast. But anyway, I'm gonna go into the truck for y'all to see, and I'm gonna share the story of what exactly happened. But turned on the truck for some heat. Has a Detroit 60 series in here, but this is what the sleeper looks like. Sorry if it's a little messy, but I think it's clean. I don't know, bed is made and stuff. But anyway, let's talk about what actually happened. So I'm driving down I-95, and I'm on my way back to Columbia, to Lexington, towards the Dixie pipeline to load another load of propane. I'm driving about 63 in the 60, and I believe I was either in the middle lane or in the right lane. I think in the middle lane. In the heat of the moment, I forgot what lane I was. But anyway, I'm driving. All of a sudden, I feel a huge vibration. Like it's almost like every single one of your wheels are on the rumble strip, and it's like shaking your steering wheel like crazy. Everything is just shaking. It's just completely horrible. So I put the truck in neutral, move over to the right lane. I mean to the shoulder, stop. collect my bearings of what actually just happened, put on my headlamp. And by the way, this headlamp is really cool. It's by Adelphi. I did a review years ago when I just started trucking, but it does that. But anyway, put my headlamp on, put a jacket on, put another shirt underneath my pants, and I went ahead and climbed underneath the truck. I couldn't find anything abnormal other than I thought I heard a little metal sound. I thought maybe it was a transmission, but I guess that's the normal sound of a transmission. It's just normal as it spins in neutral. And I looked everywhere. There's a little bit of oil, but if you have a PTO in the truck and you have a Detroit 60 series engine, usually you may have a problem here and there with oil. Just saying. That they just like to use oil. But anyway, I went underneath the truck. I couldn't find anything. I was like, I think it's the drive shaft at first, because I was like, wait a minute, I had that problem before. A mechanic at one of the companies I used to work for did not have a CDL, and an owner-operator went home and he's like, hey, Eddie, hop in the truck, drive this owner-operator's truck with me, and let's test drive it and see what it's doing. So when I gunned it, I sent it downhill, the drive shaft fell off and it vibrated. So I knew exactly what happened. But this is a jack shaft, so it's still the drive line, still part of the drive shaft system, but it's in between the two axles. But I couldn't find that at first. So we end up calling the wrecker. Wrecker comes, does a very good job. Really like the guy, how he does his work. And I tried putting it in gear. As soon as I start letting go of the clutch, it just makes a big thump thump sound, big racket. So I locked my diff. And it still did that. Okay, it still did that. So he lifts the truck. He puts his tow thing underneath, lifts the truck, and basically, as soon as he lifted the truck high enough, that jack shaft in the back dropped to the ground. So it was still kind of attached, but it came apart to where it made enough vibration sound and everything. But I didn't see it on the ground. But as soon as he lifted it, it dropped in the ground. And then he took it out, and then I was able to put it in, lock the diff, drive it straight, because this truck's kind of low, so I had to drive it on blocks in order to get over, so his tow thing does not hook on my bumper. But yeah, so he told me. It was still kind of thumping around and everything, because what essentially is when you lock your diff, you lock the front axle, and it still tries to go to the second axle. So with that being said, whatever's still hanging will still kind of make this thumping noise, and you don't ever want to drive fast if you lock your diff. That's no, you'll burn out your diff. But he parked me. I waited in the morning, came here, woke up in the morning. He unhooked me. I dropped my trailer at the trailer drop yard and parked here, and they told me to take care of me. 8 in the morning, I was taking care of this, had only 4 hours of sleep, and only until about 4 o'clock did they finally get to me and finally find out what parts I needed. That's how long. So now I'm going to be here until tomorrow, and we'll see if we can get out. And right now I'm waiting for DoorDash. I'm hungry. There's a good breakfast place to eat in the morning here, that little gas station in Florence, South Carolina, but there's nothing in walking distance after that. I mean, they have lunch, but I wasn't too keen on what they had on lunch, so I just decided to eat breakfast there. But now they got, now I just ordered DoorDash, so hopefully I can order DoorDash. I mean, hopefully the DoorDash driver knows that I'm in a black truck. I specifically told him, like, I'm in the black truck between, like, 2 red trucks, so you should find me. But my DoorDash isn't exactly 100% working. I think I may need to do an app update, because of the fact that for some reason it's not showing where the DoorDash driver actually is. So figure that out. I cannot see where he is, but I can message him. So hopefully he will come with my order soon. But I'm going to show you again, if you're just tuning in. I'm going to show you. So turn on my flash here. I'm going to show you. That's what it is. Right there. This is the main axle that drives your truck. When you lock your diff, you end up locking this differential. Okay, this differential you end up locking. It's kind of hard to show you, but yeah, you end up locking this differential when you lock your diff, and that's what snapped off, unfortunately. The biggest racket ever. I thought it was a transmission at first, simply for the fact that when I was trying to put it in gear, I'm not even driving. As soon as I'm trying to let go of the clutch, it starts making a racket. But apparently it was that. But imagine that. It was still in place, did not fall off until the wrecker lifted the truck. That's when it fell out. It was just so weird how it did that. I guess it was just enough incline to where it dropped, because I went underneath the truck, couldn't find anything. And in the heat of the moment, when you're at night and you try to sort things out on the freeway and try to be safe, you kind of cannot know if something is broken or not, because it looked 100% that there was nothing wrong with the truck, and I thought it was a transmission at first. But hey, it was not a transmission, so if this was my truck, it's not that big of a repair. But still, lately, just saying, dealers can, semi-truck dealers can charge up to $300 an hour. This is a lot less, but still expensive. Just saying, if you're an owner-operator, be prepared. I'm not an owner-operator yet, so I'm learning, and I'll be prepared someday. And hopefully my channel blows up to where I can make some good money and finally buy a truck. That's my goal in the end, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this place is actually cool. I'm glad they took care of me. They're 24 hours. I love that wrecker though. That wrecker is cool. Let's go take a look at it quickly. Let's go take a look at that wrecker. It's not a sleeper wrecker, but I like it. I'm wondering if I ever be a wrecker driver. I do know they're kind of exempt from e-logs or logbooks. I mean, they still have to use paper. They're exempt from e-logs, actually. That was the guy told me. They still have to use gridlock if they go outside of 150 air miles. But they really don't have like rules, because they have to do 24-hour emergency response if, say, there's an accident. So DOT really doesn't lay on them unless they're like doing over-the-road hauling equipment to some place. So yeah. No, Pablo, if you're there, my tires are not bald. What the flip? I'm gonna go prove it, but first, this wrecker is cool. I'm gonna show you. My tires ain't bald. I don't know what the flip you're talking about. I don't know what the flip you're talking about. Let's go. Let's go check this out. I'll show you. Yeah, I'm lucky I'm a company driver, but I do want to be owner-op. My dream is to be a truck someday. I like to be more than a company driver. These things are not bald. Look at that tread there. Okay, Pablo? They're not bald. They're not bald. They're good. The only thing I don't like about these tires are recaps, but if you take care of recaps, they should be good. The main thing is, once you recap a tire once, you never want to double recap. I've seen a lot of companies, they like to up to 3 times recap a tire. Actually, I've seen a recap tire like 8 years old at one point. Like it was like a 2000, I don't know, 16 or something like that before. It's crazy like that people can recap tires up to 3 times. And here's the other part. The other part is you cannot recap steers. That's completely legal. You cannot recap those. But yeah, these guys will take care of you. They're the cheapest in Florence, supposedly. Just saying that my mechanic in Spartanburg, South Carolina, or the mechanic I know, charges a lot less. But this is the best you're going to get in this area, because everyone else charges a lot. If you go to the Freightliner dealer, I guarantee you it's like $250 an hour at the Freightliner dealer. Here's their other record. They have a nice, brand new, they have a nice kind of newer Peterbilt. I really don't like the Kenworths, but hey, it's cool, whatever. It has a small sleeper for them to stay over or whatnot. I have a bigger sleeper. That's all that counts. Oh, and again, if you're just tuning in, because I see a lot of people tuning in, this is what's wrong with my truck, okay? My jack shaft broke, or drive line, or drive shaft, however you want to call it. It broke off. Ugh. Ever get down to Tennessee Drive or Tennessee? Yeah, I did before when I did over the road, but now I am actually more local. So really, I've only been with this company, I've been to only North Carolina, South Carolina, and believe it or not, I can push up to, I think my record was like 530 or 550 miles as local. So I do want more miles, but it's not possible with the propane, because you got to think about it. You got to load and unload, and when local, sometimes you have 2 of those loads. It's kind of hard to reach. So local, you kind of time crunch. You're just trying to get it, get there and get home, because believe it or not, if you work for a company locally, if one truck and that local trucking company they have is over the road, everyone has to run logs. Everyone. Because if your company is only local, 150 air miles, then hey, you don't have to run logs. But if one truck is over the road, you're done. Every single truck has to run logs. Now, this Freightliner Coronado has an issue. 6 Series Detroit 12.7, you're supposed to be able to hook up an ELD to it. But it's not doing that for now. So right now, I'm on beautiful paper logs, like a true glider truck, which I can run both, because it's a 99 engine, Fitzgerald glider. I don't know. I love running paper logs. Never had an issue. I love it. Yes, sometimes cops can take forever to actually look at the your logbooks, but hey, just saying, never had an issue. I always done it right. Never had an issue. They never gave me a ticket for logs. I running paper logbooks on a paper logbook legal truck, that is, and they just take forever to read it, because some of them are like, we're gonna see if we can find something wrong and give you a ticket for it. But yeah, I've never had an issue with paper logs. No, okay, Stephen Libraz, that's how I'm gonna call you. Spindle broke or a U-joint, not drive shaft. Okay. According to the mechanics, it's called a jack shaft. I like to call it drive shaft for short, because it's kind of a tongue twister. But U-joint actually didn't break. U-joint's still intact. It's like that piece in there. But what essentially happens is when your drive shaft or U-joint or whatever you want to call it, or jack shaft, breaks, it could actually tear up air lines and electrical lines and tear up the U-joint bolts in there. So it can be intact, but doesn't mean it's safe. So we're definitely not reusing those. So they're going to have to redo it. They're going to probably have to cut and cut and size up the proper U-joint for it, or jack shaft, whatever you want to call it. But the guy said you're lucky, because he said oftentimes I come to tow trucks and I have to cage the brake chambers, simply for the fact that it just, all the electrical wires and air lines are cut up in it. Yeah, let me see if I can quickly go to DoorDash here and recording. So DoorDash, maybe happy now. Well, that was quick, but cookies, and I got IHOP, International House of Pancakes. So I'm gonna eat up on this. First, let me see if I can answer any of your comments yet. I hope it's not your rear end mount for the Universal. I doubt it. We'll see. We'll see exactly what happens tomorrow. I already got my load set on what I'm gonna do tomorrow, because we're gonna redo the loads. But if it's gonna cause more delays, I'm gonna have to have a ride from here. I'm not too far off from where I live at home, but it's still a pain in the butt to get. The only thing I loved about over the road, I'm gonna say, I trucked with my wife, and if we break down together. I don't have to worry about trying to get back home. That was the good part. And to make money, I didn't have to worry about coming back home. I could stay in the truck and keep working. And I love the scenery, just saying. But it is what it is. Is it worth it trucking? Someone just answered a question here. Is it worth it trucking? Depending what you do and how you do it. What I recommend is, if you start trucking, don't go and buy a truck unless you're super rich just getting into it, because you're going to go bankrupt after buying your first truck. When you get your CDL, you want to get experience of at least, I'd say, minimum 2 years before you buy your own truck, unless you know what you're 100% doing. Okay? Don't buy your first truck without getting some experience. You got to know how to drive. First of all, as a company driver, it's better you get experience than being an owner-op right away, because you're learning. And it's going to be harder for brokers to give you loads on a new company, especially a new company and new CDL holder. They'll look at that. So just saying, start trucking, start company driver, then move your way up the ladder. You might even stay as a company driver if you like the pay and the home time. You just got to choose the right company out there. Where's my bathroom? Well, I already took care of that, and there's supposedly a gas station, if anything, for emergency, or bushes if there's an emergency. I'm not gonna go in front. I'm not gonna do it in front of like everyone else that does like that Bainham driver did. That's no, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I keep myself clean. So, but I got the bathroom covered. There's bathrooms at this facility anyway. All right.